You know what? I think it's safe to say there's a lot going on here. These people are all vicious. All these people and this whole family are really vicious. But of the family, who's really running things, who is really downright the devil's work is Horus, Olivia, and Mallerie too. But the real hands-on is Horus and Olivia. Horus and Olivia is the Mr. and Mrs. Smith of the whole situation, and Norman is just damn crazy. So the three of them, the three elders, oh we. Baby, listen, thank y'all for clicking on the video. This is my review for Beauty in Black. This is season 1, episode 11. And I promise you, the elders in this family, there ain't no way I would agree to make the potato salad for no function that they're given. These people are crazy. They really are. Olivia is in there. Now, we've seen her with the little young boyfriend that couldn't keep up with her sexually. Cute little fella. Seen him in there. Now, I thought she really had something with him. Baby, she sitting up with him. Everything fine. They done laid up in the whole 9 yards. She's just like a man. She go in there. She's talking to him. And she's telling him, you know, what happened? This, that, thing, and the other. We done found out she's the one that actually set up the hit. Remember, I told y'all it was Mallerie and Jules that set up the hit on Norman. Remember the whole thing with the ambulance at the first part of the season, and he made his way out of the ambulance. It was Mallerie and Jules that actually set that hit up. But what's so cold is that the people that they went through to set it up worked for Olivia. I said, well, I'll be damned. So literally, they really got like a 6 degrees of separation going on, and they don't even realize it. They don't even realize it. Literally, you got 3 people from the actual family unit trying to take another one out and don't realize they all working together. She pissed off because her little boyfriend got the actual henchmen that do the thing, but everything is all flowing through Olivia. She don't realize that really that it was Jules and that the order was coming from Jules and damn Mallerie. They literally are their own money for us by us and don't realize it. I said, Lord, they are some twisted folks. 6 degrees of separation. Hey, listen. But she's telling him, well, how did he get out? How did that happen? And he's like, oh, you know, I'm sorry. I'll do better. And she talking to him. And at first I was like, wait a minute. I wasn't catching what she was saying. Then I ran it back like, wait a minute. When she told him, she's like, you know, you got to get in the bag, right? So what the shit is this about this bag? You know, you got to get in the bag. And he know what the bag is all about. He's like, no, I'm going to do better. I'm like, what is this thing with the bag? Child had him put himself into a body bag and hold it up and had 2 of the henchmen stand behind him and they just pop down in the bag. And that's what he's like, it's fine, everything fine, I'll do better. And she's like, no, you know too much, you gotta go. And she kept telling him, stop all that crying, nigga. Get your ass in the bag. Get your ass in the bag. I was like, I said, this couldn't be Rock's wife doing all this carrying on. She was carrying on something terrible. She really is the high priestess of this. She is the most vicious of all. And that we're actually seeing. Because, you know, I think Horus is probably a little past some of that stuff, but she fears Horus. So for her to fear Horus, you know, he's some bad shit. And the thing with Norman, I don't think she actually fears Norman. She knows that Norman is a wild card. Norman's a wild card, so you just don't never know. You just got to kill him because you don't know how he gonna go. But the three of them, baby, that's a hell of a goddamn family reunion club. I don't want to be the one to make the potato salad because you know you will never win the whole room with potato salad. Somebody ain't gonna like it. So no, I wouldn't play with them at all. But they popped him in the bag. They make you hold your own. But I said, that's cool. Tyler Perry, baby, I don't know where your mind be at. And over the years, I've always said, I don't know if I would work well with Tyler. Like, I don't know if I would want Tyler Perry to take one of my books and make it into a production. But here, I might have to choose some of that because here on Netflix, Tyler, you're going there. Like, you are literally going there. And that's my whole thing. That's why I always love Lee Daniels, because Lee Daniels is going to tell the story. He don't care how it grips you. Once I saw Precious, I said, that's the one. That's who I would like to adapt my books into movie form, would be Lee Daniels, because Lee Daniels is going to tell the story the way you told the story, and he ain't trying to bring it back around to everybody be saved and then the church at the end and all the gay people be straight when it's all, he ain't going to do all that. Lee Daniels is going to do it just like it's on the paper. And Tyler usually don't. Tyler usually make everything have this happy ending. You know, we're off to see the wizard, but honey, he ain't doing that on Beauty in Black. On Beauty in Black, Tyler Perry is showing his natural black behind. Now, I like it. I like it. So, in the bag, pop. I ain't never heard no crazy shit like that. I said, ooh, I know Tyler can get he get dark like in the S&M thing sometime, but not this, baby. He carrying on like damn. I can't even see New Jack City. Some of it, I mean, it's good. It's good. Let's go see Vney and Horus. Horus looked into it some more. He said, listen, a Class B felony would forfeit shares. So he done figured it out. He said, and Varney's like, well, I mean, you could tell me, like, if you have some thoughts. He's like, if I want to tell you something, I'll tell you. But in his head, he already got it. That's how he's going to take Norman out, because Norman is laundering money and carrying on. He's laundering money and doing all these things. That's going to definitely give him a Class B felony. So that's how he's going to get rid of Norman. And then I said, okay. That's that. All right. So we'll get rid of Norman. Then I don't know what he's going to do with his kids. That's something different. So that's that. Horus then ends up calling Jules, and he tells Jules, because you know he got the thing, go find Angel. And he said, you know, Angel stole one of my cars. And he said, use the license plate to find him, because he stole one of my cars. Jules tells his guys, bring Angel to me, go get him and bring him to me. And then he tells them, then y'all go find Rain, because I believe if you could find Rain, you could find Kimmy. Kimmy's going to be somewhere around, because she keeps going back to Rain. If you could find Rain, you could find Kimmy. Rain will be able to tell you what you need, because remember, she got moved from the hospital that they knew she was at. So now we got people in pursuit of Angel and in pursuit of Kimmy, but they don't realize Kimmy and Angel are together. And they ain't never going to find Rain, because Rain is up underneath the protection of Horus. That she's literally hidden in plain sight, which I love it. I love it. He literally got him hidden in plain sight. I said that's funny to me. They're supposed to be such good killers and con men. Now Vney ends up taking this, but I said, Vney, you making a couple. Vney's heart is into it. If your heart is in it, why won't you tell me so? Vney, you out there. Charles is related to these people. Charles does like Vney, but Charles is just a natural born whore. Okay? He can't help himself. And I hate that, because I like Vney. We like Vney. Vney is, Vney fine. Vney got his eye on the prize. Vney is seasoned and polished, and he crooked too, because you dealing with him, but he got a plan. And for some strange reason, he think he could actually get out unscathed. You can't. You really can't. But he literally is in love with Charles. Charles deep down does like Vney. He just don't know. He loved Vney the way he knows how to love Vney, but he don't let him know. He's part of that family. He keeps saying we're fucked up and we hurt each other. That's what we do. And he always told him you got to toughen up and all of this. But he goes over there and he goes and tells Charles, you need to be careful about Horus and what's going on. And here he's blowing him off, not paying him any attention. You know, just being flippant and gay. I'm like, okay, girl. Now let's talk about this Lena. Now, Miss Lena is something else, honey. That the lawyer, she didn't contact Mallerie and telling her, you might as well go ahead and take this settlement. Because if you don't take this settlement, I'm just going to bring the whole empire down. So you really should just go ahead and take the settlement. So they're going back and forth. She told her, you know, after meeting you and your husband, y'all a goddamn mess. I'll have y'all up on all kind of charges. It'll be more than just, I will destroy you all with which y'all messy, what y'all got going on. Baby, when I tell you Mallerie cussed her out and hung up on her. I said, girl, I didn't even know cell phones make them noises. And she hung up on her so bad, I said, damn. But that Lena, she's a tough cookie. But honey, Mallerie said, girl, please, bring it. Hung up on her. Now, Harold, the judge, he done got summoned by Norman now. Now, his hand's already over there playing with Horus. He get over there with Norman. Norman just is crazy. He's telling him, what'd you tell him when you was over there with him? What'd you tell him? Oh, no, I ain't told him nothing. I ain't told him nothing. I promise you. You know, I love you, man. I'll do anything for you. This, that, and the other, and all of this kind of carrying on. He said, you know, he was asking me about you and what you got going on. And I promise I didn't tell him anything. This, that, and the other. He's like, okay. And then he turns around and he goes and he shows him. He said, look at this. Shows him a little video of somebody stalking his daughter who is in college. I said, not stalking a daughter down in college. And then he told him, let's have a drink. He gonna say, drink it, nigga. And he was like, that cup was shaking so hard. I said, girl, this is the best. They done had the man with a stick of dynamite cocked up in his mouth, honey, and then stabbed him in the hand, honey. Now you got him shaking the glass, honey. I said, child, that is just too nervous, honey. The man gonna die of a heart attack. They scared that man to death. And he's like, please, I'm not no baby. I said, child. They got her locked in, honey. I said, oh, wait, honey. Okay. Crazy Norman. Anyway, so let's go. Mallerie and Roy, honey. Mallerie and Roy is doing their normal. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He all had up. He really is a vicious junkie. Had all up, talking his shit, carrying on. She ends up telling Calvin. She told Roy, she was warning him about staying alert and everything like that because there's some stuff going on. You know, he's just blowing her off, talk shit to her. So she done told Calvin, you need to follow him, watch him at all times and all of this. She also got this thing going. She want to know who it is that he's messing around with. We all know it's Kimmy, but she don't know. She don't know who it is, but she wants him being followed and all of this. Child, Calvin is thorough. So, you know, Calvin done banged her all out, got her mind all twisted, and he messing with her, but she talking her stuff. She hold her own. And I said, look at Calvin. Calvin really feeling himself. He done gave her a pair of his underwear. I said, whoa, ain't that some role reversal? Gave her his underwear and told her, I see you ready to cry, you know, about me. Go ahead, here, take these and wipe your tears. Well, dry your tears with these. Now, Calvin, baby, that's disgusting. Okay, I'm boy crazy. I like boys, honey. I like boys a whole lot, but I don't want your draws. It's a little dip. What, what are we doing here? I'm gay as the day is long. Gay as a $3 bill. But I know that some things you just can't switch the role. Oh, I'm getting ready to make some people mad. You can't switch the role. There ain't nothing sexy to me about. Well, first of all, let me say this. Because some people actually, this is probably too personal, but some people actually do like a man's must. I'm prissy through and through. I don't like no shit like that. I don't like no smells and all that. I like a man fresh out of the shower, smelling like water, smelling like water and soap. I ain't into that fresh out the gym smelling or like you've been somewhere running around. Get out of my face. Get out of my face, and you're not jumping in no beds around here or on the furniture or nothing, or we ain't getting on the floor together and you smelling like outside. That just ain't my thing. Okay. So I wish would hand me some draws. Talk about wipe your face with them. You want me to put your draws up to my face? Child, I'll give you some of this upside your face. So that switch up of that, like that change of sexes. Yeah, it's sexy when a woman do that because women are supposed to be smelling like sweet nectar and all these things. I don't know because I don't play with women like that, but I respect the hustle. And it's just the way everybody's so crazy about vagina. I believe that it's good like that. So whenever I hear that whole thing and see that whole vision of a woman leaving her panties and all, and then panties are cute. Panties are cute. Okay, men want to put them on their face and shit. I get it. That's cool. Sweet nectar. That's what that is always in my mind when I see a woman leave her panties somewhere. I'm probably saying way too much. But for me, I envision sweet nectar. And it's like, now that's cute, not sexy. When a man take off some drawers, nigga, nigga, please. You get in the shower, right? And I know I'm not going to put them on my face. Like, are you my face? Nigga, you okay? Anyway, so I was like, Tyler, child, get on out of my face with that foolishness. But I said, okay, Calvin, you really feeling yourself. Then he get over there. Now, Calvin and Jenny, him and the ex-girlfriend, they still going at it. She mad as hell, but she's a little bit over the madness. She's apologized. She didn't apologize to him and begging him for them to get back together. And he's like, I ain't interested. His nose is wide open, baby. And he think he working Mallerie, okay? And he a cloud chaser. He's a cloud chaser, and he trying to get the come up. And he like her too a little bit, like her crazy, And girlfriend threatened him, told him, yeah, that's all right. I'm gonna tell her husband. I'm gonna tell Roy, and I'm gonna tell Jules, nigga. That's gonna be the end of you, nigga. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Go tell whoever you want. She looked real crazy. Like she looks really crazy. And the fact that now, and this just tells you how twisted that Roy is. The fact that she actually wants Roy and is throwing herself at Roy. Roy don't want her no more. He only liked her when he was basically violating her. And now he's like, oh, gosh, crazy. I don't want to be bothered with her. He likes the likes of a Kimmy. He knows that there's nothing about him and I think he's adorable, but Kimmy nothing about Roy turns Kimmy on at all. She can't get wet for him. Trying to have sex with her, it don't work. Shit don't fit. She don't see it for you. It just clam up, shit be like Ritz crackers. She just can't, she don't see it for him. He liked that. He likes it. He likes the fact that he is forcing himself upon her. Weird, sick freak. Anyway, so Horus and Angel. They do end up, Kimmy gets away going on off doing what Kimmy does. They done got a hold of Angel due to the car and all that. Gets Angel, brings him to Horus. Horus meets up with him, and this thing, he wants to know everything about Kimmy. He's questioning him about Kimmy. And I said, oh, I knew it. This fool is getting ready to try to marry Kimmy, because that once he has a wife, it is, you know, if that the contract's going to save him, because he's kind of like a sitting duck. You know, nobody in the group can actually run the risk of actually killing somebody else in the group, because if they die in a situation and it's questionable, then that's going to mess up the shares and all of that. So nobody's going to be stupid enough to actually harm one of the other ones without really having like a good plan of cover up. So that kind of keeps you a little bit safe, but not so much. You see, they try to get Norman. But Kimmy, even if they do get him, and see, he knows he's going to die anyway. If he marries Kimmy, his shares are with Kimmy. So they still won't get it. He'd just be dead. That's that. He's going to die anyway. So that's that. But I'm like, you really like Kimmy like that. But yeah, because I mean, the only other person he likes is Mallerie. And I think at this point, this juncture, I don't think he really cares. I mean, I think he does care for Mallerie. He loves Mallerie like a daughter. But I don't think he trusts Mallerie. I think he might have some questions about Mallerie at this point as well. Y'all tell me in the comments. Do you think that Papa is really down with Mallerie? I don't. I really, really don't. Anyway, so in the midst of all of the back and forth with Mallerie and Calvin, she ends up she's playing this little game. You know, it's this cat and mouse game. She's having a good time. You know, it feels good to have a man eyeballing you and all up on you and talking shit to you, because she don't got that with that junkie she with. You know, that whole relationship is giving Bobby. You know, it's giving all that. She ain't trying to hear all that. So she ends up in the office and she see Calvin just watching her. So she gonna hug up on Vney. Truth of the matter is, she really want Vney to stick it in her, baby, because you know that's Vney. Honey, that Vney. But she's hugging up on Vney really to make Calvin jealous. She knows that Calvin's watching. Damn, Roy seen it. Roy busts in there, baby, and is crashing out. You hear me? Crashing out. Ends up going through all these little changes, and he telling Vney, get out of here, nigga. This, that, thing, and the other, and on and on. I'm like, do you even love your wife, Roy, or are you just embarrassed? And now you crashing out. So Vney is so upset. He's like fearing for his job and all of this kind of carry. Like, I didn't do nothing. He about ready to tell people I'm gay. I ain't do it. I'm like, shut up, Vney. Just shut up. So we got that going on. Then we got Kimmy and Roy, because later on they ended up, you know, they find Kimmy. They didn't find Kimmy. They got in touch with Kimmy. Kimmy hears that Roy is asking for her. You know, he's asking for her to come and turn a trick with him. You know, she wants to get some information because she thinks that Roy knows where her sister is. She's still looking for Sylvie. So she thinks Roy is, you know, they're all working together. So she ends up going to the room. All this time, she's going back and forth with Rain, and Rain is like, don't do that. Angel kept telling her, don't do that. She's like, it's too late. I'm going to do it. So they end up going. She goes, she meets up with him. Just to ask him about Sylvie. He don't know what the hell she's talking about. She don't believe him. They're having this back and forth. She exposes him and tells him, your last name is this. Your daddy is this. Your wife is this. And on there, he's sitting there looking at her. The two of them bust out. They get to fighting because, you know, he's just arrogant. They get to fighting. And then Tyler borrows a scene out of one of his own situations. And she pushes him out the window. You know, we already seen that in the Tyler Perry situation where somebody got pushed out the window the very same way on Have and Have Nots. Remember? It was Candace. Y'all remember when Candace pushed the detective or whatever he was? The little, yeah, it was a detective or something. But she pushed him out of the window of a hotel. Same thing. So that's where we actually ended up at. She done pushed him out the window, and he didn't know nothing about Sylvie. So I said, Lord, they done killed Roy. So out the window he went, And that is where I said, come on with my cliffhanger. But I just kind of laughed because I was like, that, and it really was a good cliffhanger when it happened on Have and Have Nots. So I guess he said, I'm gonna use that again. And yeah, he did. Same thing. The boosh under one of them long windows of the ceiling to, the floor to ceiling windows, and took his big ass up out of there. Sexy little thing, honey, all cut up. I said, oh, bye, Roy. Bye, sugar. It's a hell of a way to go. Anyway, so that's the end of that. That's episode 11. Episode 11 was a good one. That was a good one. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Leave me some notes. Let's talk about where we are. Leave me some notes, y'all. All right, talk to y'all later.